And we're back. Mike Cernovich, DangerPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset, the Wet Dog Mindset. Julius and I, we took a nice hike and a good run. Why? Because cardio is important. We're going to start the show off a little bit differently. I want to take your calls right away. Why do I want to take your calls right away? Because I want to know what is on your mind. Also because I'm tired and I didn't read the news today. I wrote an article at DangerPlay.com. The kind of articles I like to write, the more abstract, bigger, higher level articles on legitimacy, and we're all in the Trump matrix. It's weird. I'm trying to read, I read all these people's Twitter's accounts, and they're technologists, or they're into medicine, whatever. And you know what they all say? I'm tired of people talking about Trump. But then I look at their Twitter feed, and it's all Trump all the time. I feel like we're stuck in the Trump matrix, and I don't know, as much as I enjoy living the world, sometimes you think, can we just not talk about Trump today? But it really is everywhere. So the call-in is 8. So today I didn't read the news. Don't know what's going on. 866-438-1487. One more time, I'll say that. 866-438-1487. And I ask you to not type that out and enter it in the comment thing, because we already get more calls than I can handle. We actually have the opposite problem most people have. We get more calls than I can handle. I can't handle the volume of callers. So I don't want the number. I don't want the number in the little chat box. But yeah, go ahead and go ahead and give me a call and we'll get going. So what else is going on? Nice shirt. Thank you. Yeah, I got a new shirt. No green screen going on today. Why? I took it all down. Took the green screen down. It's getting in my way. It was bothering me. Fox News. Hey, Mike. Hey, guys. Are you guys trying to call? Usually we have a bunch of calls in by now. Here we go. Something was wrong. Denver, Colorado. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, yeah, so definitely happy to not talk about Trump anymore. We can all hear enough about that.
Right.
I just wanted to see your thoughts and see what everybody else, the viewers, what everyone's thinking about this whole marijuana thing. As I do live out in Colorado, and I work for a dispensary, and just kind of a little bit here and there, you hear about what some people say about it on TV at the podium, kind of, so to speak. I want to hear what your thoughts were.
Marijuana, what regard?
Sorry?
Marijuana in what regard?
In regards to, a lot of people are talking about, they're going to shut it down, or,
yeah, I hope not. No. Yeah, that'll be... Right, so I fully... Hold on, I accidentally deleted you. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Yeah, I believe most Trump supporters are not in favor of the feds going after marijuana in states where it's legal. Obama did that, broke a campaign promise. Obama said he wasn't going to do it. Jeff Sessions doesn't really get marijuana culture the way he should, but hopefully Trump will let him know they're better. We got pedophiles everywhere, right? To me, the marijuana thing is we have pedophiles. There are pedophiles everywhere. Why are we caring about marijuana when every pedophile in Washington, D.C., when every pedophile in deep state is arrested? Then let's talk about marijuana. Right? We can't even... it's crazy.
Talking about the pedophile thing, obviously, the Pedogate, Pizzagate, and talking about all this other stuff, because I'd like to think they're secretly working on it, hoping to get this big push and big effort. You see it kind of happening bits and pieces, the arrests that have happened over the past few months. And you like to think, because they're talking about all this stuff, it's really insignificant compared to the bigger topics that we all are talking about on Twitter, the social media. It's like, why aren't they talking about this? Either they're part of it, or they're just waiting to go after it, waiting to just, waiting for the bubble to burst before it's all out of the bag and it's all starting to happen.
Exactly. Rather than worry about people on marijuana, I'm worried about the pedophiles in Washington, D.C., the pedophile networks, the pedophiles in Hollywood, like Elijah Wood had said, the pedophiles in the New York media network. That's what we need to worry about. So if they go after marijuana, then that's our job to push back. That's why I've always told people I don't work for Trump. I definitely want to push back. So those are my thoughts, and most Trump people are going to agree with my thoughts on marijuana.
Right, yeah. I think everybody does on that, but yeah, definitely bigger fish to fry than marijuana, but that's just something I always think about once in a while.
Definitely.
The pedophile stuff never gets never get to dress. Hopefully we'll
Definitely.
wait on it, put a pin in it. Hopefully something happens. But thanks for taking my call, man.
Thank you, man. Have a good night. Yeah, we gotta have priorities, man. Priorities. So tired of people worried about nonsense like marijuana. We got children being raped in America, and people want to focus on marijuana. And that's media brainwashing too. The media wants people focused on nonsense so that they can exploit children. Hollywood, we know, runs a pedophile network. Roman Polanski raped a 13-year-old girl anally after drugging her. He's a hero of Hollywood. When will Hollywood disavow him? Right? Susan Sarandon, standing ovation for him. Meryl Streep, standing ovation for him. They call him a hero. He's a pedophile. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Syracuse, New York, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Mike? I'm a first-time caller here. I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on Vault 7? Have you read through any of it?
Yeah, Vault 7 I talked a lot about yesterday on Twitter. And Vault 7, like a lot of the WikiLeaks, is proving what we already know. We already know the CIA is spying on us all the time. We already know these iPhones are watching us, the microphones are on. We already know that the biggest enemy to us is not from without, it's from within. We already know all this, and WikiLeaks is definitely proving it. And I saw an interesting headline today on Twitter. I said I didn't read the news, but I read a little bit about Vault 7. I read a lot of it yesterday. The FBI and the CIA are investigating the leaker. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So, all these people who are wiretapping Trump, leaking things to the press about General Flynn, nobody cared. But the minute corruption within the CIA is exposed, oh, now suddenly you have a problem. It just really tells you, right? Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's funny because, going back to the Trump thing, like when he said that he was being tapped and everybody denied it, and even the media, although they printed beforehand that he was being tapped, now it's like, oh, he's making it up. It's all accusations without any kind of merit, and I just thought it was all silly. And when you read through the Vault 7, what they first released, there's a little bit in there that mentions something about Russia and the fact that they were looking for ways to hack into people, but then leave the trail back to a Russian embassy, so you think that Russia did it.
False, exactly, right.
How funny that was.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So the CIA was hacking people, and then it was a false flag blamed on Russia. Now, when I said, I don't know, how have you been following my Twitter for a year or two, or when did you start following my Twitter?
Probably about not even a few weeks ago. My Twitter got banned, so I had to keep starting a new one. I actually had to go out and buy a new phone to get around my ban. So.
Gotcha. Well, you can. I like that tenacity. They ban you, but you're still going to go on. You can ask people who followed me way back in the day, and I told you that most of this stuff was a false flag to blame on Russia to start World War III with Ukraine. I said most, and I said it, and people go, Mike, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, right? And then the WikiLeaks prove that the hack. Remember when Twitter went down, the whole internet went down? That was. Yeah. I don't know, a couple months ago. And I go, this was a false flag blamed on Russia. And sure enough. So, again, it just really shows how evil Deep State is. And I don't know, man. As much as we might see some flaws in him, there's only one man. There's only one man that can take out Deep State.
I thought back to the time before my time when Kennedy actually wanted to get rid of the CIA altogether. Because back in his time, how corrupt they were, and all the little Project Mockingbird and Project Northwoods, all these things that they were doing behind the public's back, and he wanted to put an end to it, and, well, we know how that ended.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's definitely... He wanted to break up the CIA, and we know what happened to Kennedy. That's always been my big fear of Trump. That's always been my biggest fear on Trump. That he'll be, we don't even want to say the word.
You think he's toting the line on many things for that reason, to make sure he doesn't end up...
Well, he's a hostage.
With his head.
Yeah, he and his family are hostage. He can only do so much, or they will murder his entire family, right? It's easy for us to say, Trump, you have to do this, Trump, you have to do that. he can only do so much, or they will murder his family. So, I don't know. All this stuff is making people wonder if it's time for a revolution, unfortunately. So we have to do something about it. The media lies to us. The deep state is spying on us. They're threatening to assassinate. If they assassinate Trump, if they did kill Trump, then I think the people would march to the street. What do you think about that?
Sometimes I think that they are trying to push us towards that is actually what the deep state with the secret government actually wants, the world government, so they can maybe really enforce martial law and put all those FEMA camps to good use. It's sometimes, like, I wonder, what is it? What could we possibly do? Because it seems like no matter what we do, we're going to lose. And I don't know, I try to brainstorm with people to come up with positive solutions as best as possible. I mean, I would like if we could all just detach from the system, from the state. You know, it seems like they're closing that option too as fast as they can. So I don't know. With all that's going on with Antifa, it feels like they actually want us to revolt. They actually want us in the streets, which would give them a reason to get strong towards us. You know? Yeah,
they do because they're drunk with power. I think with Brexit, with Trump winning, with Le Pen, with the resolution in Italy, there's a lot going on that they wanted that. I think they wanted us to have a civil war. By they, I mean deep state, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Saudi Arabia. They wanted us to have a civil war about a year or two ago. But with all of this resurgence of resistance, I don't think they want us to continue to go down that route because they realize they are outnumbered. So they're a little bit afraid too. But they're not going to express that fear because they're terrorists. A terrorist will never tell you they're afraid. They want to terrorize us. But they're shook. They're definitely shook.
I hope so. I really do, because sometimes it seems like we were too late to notice the game that's being played to actually even do anything about it. Like the system, like George Carlin said, the system's rigged, you know, and it's a little too late to start changing it. But God, I hope that we do. I hope we kick our central bank out. We give the power to print currency back to the government where it belongs. I hope that we ban the CIA. I hope they get rid of all the pedophiles like the previous caller was talking about. There's so much I hope that they do. And we, the people, we have to partake in it. We have to do some things about it. We can't just sit by and on social media, and at the same time we can't get forceful. It's like, I don't know.
Well, we all know what we got to do eventually. But we're trying to, we don't want to go there yet. And the best thing, that's why I always tell people, you got to meet up in real life. You got to get together. You got to get together in real life. You have to form your own team. You got to get off Twitter. That's why we're doing MAGA meetups. Get people, talk to people who have met me, right? They'll all tell you I'm very accessible. I'm always meeting people everywhere, all across the world. To get people together, because it's gonna we're in the Cold War right now. Right now we're in a cold civil war. I would rather it remain cold. I don't want it to become a hot civil war, but I also want to be prepared if the deep state starts kicking down doors and trying to kidnap people and round people up into camps, because who knows? I mean, if they will hack into your car and murder you if you're a journalist, they're evil. They'll do anything.
Yeah, the fact that they keep pushing, the media keeps pushing how the right, that the resistance, that the true patriots are the Nazis and we're the ones that want this. That makes me think like that's what they're setting up for, because they like to accuse of what they're actually doing. It's a little freaky.
Exactly. I agree. Well, I'm more optimistic than most, though, because we've shown that we outnumber them, and we've shown that we will fight harder than they will fight. And at the end of the day, we have the guns. How do the people who don't have the guns take the guns away from the people who do? That is the question of our time. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
That's the thing. Deep state wants to demoralize people. That's why they try to make it seem like nobody thinks like you. They try to isolate you. They try to make it feel like you're alone. There are so many of us. Come on. I'm recognized everywhere in public. Unbelievable, right? Just Twitter. Just from Twitter. And blogging, podcasting and stuff. Everywhere I go. Mall, every city in the world, doesn't matter. And those are just the people that say hi to me. Who knows how many people recognize me and don't say anything. That's just a sign of how many of us there really are. We're all over the place. Also, a lot of people, Stephen Molyneux, you wouldn't believe it. Freedom. There are so many. That's why I'm optimistic that's why I was optimistic about Trump. You never, during the entire election, watched me say that I didn't think Trump would win, right? Never during the entire election did I think Trump would win. Why? Because I see the numbers. The same is true now. I see the numbers, and there are a lot of us. Philadelphia, how you doing?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing great, buddy.
Listen, is this a good idea? Should Trump utilize Twitter polls? Yes or no?
Trump should use Twitter a lot more. He should use polls.
Twitter polls.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, he should be doing way more with Twitter. He should be posting on Twitter 20 times a day.
But imagine how scrutinizing him using a Twitter poll is, and then taking the results and actually using that. Imagine the outrage.
Well, they would get rigged. George Soros and other people would hire bots to take over the polls.
Well, it wouldn't even necessarily be a yes or no. It could be something like one of his policies.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Twitter is direct democracy. That's the whole point. Twitter is direct democracy. Trump should be tweeting more often. He should be tweeting linked to articles. He should be tweeting his thoughts about the world. He should be tweeting Twitter polls. He should be tweeting all the time. 10 times a day. Trump's Twitter should be minimum 10 times a day, including Twitter polls.
I agree.
Thank you for your call.
No problem.
Yeah, my only criticism of Trump's Twitter is that he doesn't tweet often enough. Twitter, you have to boom, 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 like a machine gun. He goes, a couple times a day, he makes news. He's got to tweet so often about so many different subjects that the media is constantly reacting to him. Rather than react to the media the way his media team does it, he needs to be so active on Twitter or hire somebody who knows how to use Twitter properly and get people reacting. He should have Trump flash mobs. That's how he uses Twitter. Trump flash mobs. Go to the corner of 5th and Broadway for Make America Great Again hat. We have 5 hats, right? Trump flash mobs. Trump could tweet that out. Say, go to 5th and Broadway or to wherever. And there's going to be a person there with 5 Make America Great Again hats. Go there now. It might cause a traffic jam. So maybe that wouldn't be the best idea. But that's the way they need to be thinking. They need to be thinking in terms of disruptive. Trump and us, he's still the insurgent. He's president now, but he is not in charge. As much as we wish it were otherwise. Deep state is still entrenched and charged. Trump is the insurgency. He has to keep fighting like the insurgency. Tweet, tweet, tweet all the time. Trump flash mobs, Trump meetups, Trump rallies. He needs to be doing a rally, I don't know. How often? At least once every 2 weeks. A Trump rally at least every 2 weeks. Maybe every week. Why can't he? Why could Obama play golf every week? Or go to a fundraiser every week? Or go goof off every week? But if Trump does a rally where he's actually talking to people, they go, why isn't Trump governing? Why is Trump doing rallies? Why is that? Think about that for a minute. Why is it not a problem for Obama to do nothing? But if Trump does a rally, then it's a big issue. That is because the media knows the power of the people, and they want to keep us divided. We got a caller from New Jersey. Red Bank, New Jersey, how you doing?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Doing well.
Enjoying the show as usual. Just really quick to go back to what one of the first few callers said in reference to the marijuana issue. I think this is a bit much to do about nothing. We never heard Donald Trump mention marijuana once during the campaign. This was brought up during one of the press briefings, and people got a little bit up in arms about it. We're against the war on drugs and everything like that. But Trump has so many things on his plate and so many broad-reaching parts of his agenda. I haven't heard him directly mention marijuana at all. So I think people could maybe calm down a little bit about it and perhaps look and see. Have you seen Trump even mention marijuana? I don't recall him mentioning it once.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's another good point. Trump never said he was going to crack down on marijuana. Allegedly, Jeff Sessions one time maybe said it to somebody, but I never saw any proof. So that could be fake news. We could all be the victim. That's the whole problem. We might be the victim of fake news because Trump never said anything about marijuana. That could be another example of fake news.
Right, and look what Jeff Sessions got on his plate. He's got an out-of-control DOJ that doesn't even work for him at this point. He's got an out-of-control CIA. You're dealing with the pedophile networks that are being rounded up. You're dealing with throwing out gangs. I mean, this marijuana is way, way, way down on the priorities list. Did you see the story out of Minnesota where Tim Kaine's son was arrested for setting off a smoke bomb at an anti-Trump
Yeah,
protest?
I
Did you
did.
see that story?
Vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine. His son is a domestic terrorist. Man.
You're darn right. And I had a Periscope going, and I talked about it in my Periscope with the people that are in there.
You hear me?
And I said, listen,
You can't make this
just
stuff
like
up.
you just said, Tim Kaine's son is a domestic terrorist. This guy was a heartbeat away from becoming the vice president. We dodged a major bullet.
Yeah, I mean, we live in such weird times. I mean, really, it blows my mind every day to think about the world that we live in. The world that we live, speaking of marijuana, I feel like every day I'm high because the world that we live in is so mind-blowing, I can't comprehend it. Our vice presidential candidate, his son is a terrorist. That is the real world. Man.
It blows your mind. It's incomprehensible. I'd like to say it's unbelievable, but it is believable. I mean, he resisted arrest. He was charged with second degree, which, as an attorney, that's a serious offense. He was charged with second degree rioting, which is a felony, resisting arrest, fleeing and eluding. And, of course he's going to get preferential treatment because his father's a U.S. senator. When have we seen the Trump kids ever behave like this? And I doubt that they put him in the general population in a pod with 60 gang members. I'm sure he got preferential treatment.
He should go be with the people. They like felons. They like felons so much. Democrats love felons. I think that Tim Kaine, his son, should go be with the felons. Don't you think so? Because the felons are so great. Put him in there with the felons, right?
I agree, but I mean, nothing's going to happen to him. I mean, here he is, one of the most privileged people on planet Earth, and he wants to engage in a fake anti-Trump protest, and he's setting off smoke bombs and smoke grenades, or he's at least accused of, to the point where he fled police and had to be subdued with pepper spray. I mean, this guy's living in a dream world, and that's what a lot of these college, these kids that learn in the college now, they're learning the anti-America stuff, they're learning the critical theory stuff, which I know you probably know what that is. They're learning critical theory, America's bad, and this is what you get. A privileged, rich kid thinks he's going to be a domestic terrorist. It's absurd.
Yeah, but I think that Tim Kaine, his son, should be put in general population with the felons that the Democrats love so much. He should do a voter registration drive. Yeah, and imagine here's a double standard that we all have learned to live with. If you're a Trump supporter, and if you go and you cough, they're gonna be like, oh my God, that guy is spreading, SARS. He's trying to give people, poison gas. But Drew Carey, his 13-year-old kid, burned a flag in front of the deplorable. That's what I mean by I feel like I'm high every day of my life. Drew Carey's son, 13 years old. I don't even think he was 13. Maybe he was 11. I don't even know. He's a kid. Drew Carey's son is roaming the streets.
He's a juvenile delinquent, that kid.
Burning flags in my event. I can't
Not
believe.
only that,
Man.
he didn't just burn a flag. He burned combustible material in a crowded street. he could have killed somebody. That little juvenile delinquent could have killed somebody.
Who needs weed, man? Who needs this? I feel high right now. Just thinking about...
I'm on magic mushrooms when I read these stories. Mike, I really...
That's weird. Yeah, thanks for your call. Yeah, who needs marijuana, man? Just Drew Carey's son is a pyromaniac, roaming the streets. He's underage, 11 years old, something like that, in D.C., burning flags, lighting, who knows what kind of bombs they were doing. And then Tim Kaine, who was the vice presidential candidate under sick Hillary Clinton, his son, 24, domestic terrorist. You gotta laugh. If you really took it all in, it would be too much. Your mind would blow. That's unbelievable. Tampa, Florida, how you doing? Hey, how are you? We got a caller from Tampa, or your area code is 813.
Young nigga, you bald nigga.
Okay. That wasn't even a very good troll. Your troll game is weak. So, that wasn't even a good troll, guys. Come on. I expect better of you. Alright, call-in number is... Oh, wait, no. Pittsburgh? We haven't heard from Pittsburgh yet. Pittsburgh, how you doing?
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
I was thinking about what you were saying. You've been commenting recently on, how elections are going to change and how, the PewDiePie thing is sort of playing on that. The media knows. And I've been thinking a lot about that in Oprah saying she's running for president. And I think we're going to be seeing a trend that Donald Trump started where these politicians like Jeb Bush, these establishment politicians, aren't going to be winning the presidency anymore. I'm not necessarily saying Oprah, but characters like Trump, people like that, business people, famous people, I think we're going to see that trend. Do you think so?
Well, for years, actually, friends of mine who were Republican operatives, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, they were always afraid that Oprah would run. The Oprah threat was huge. And because Oprah had a big platform before social media. So the trend we're going to see right now is that platform is everything to run for office, right? Platform is everything because if you don't have a platform, the media can say whatever they want to say about you. They can lie about you. They can create fake news about you. And if you don't have your own platform, you're done. The kind of people who have platforms are traditionally celebrities. People like Oprah. People like Chelsea Clinton's trying to do it, but she's failing. Her Twitter is so boring. But it shows you that they're evolving.
The basic comment was very accurate.
Yeah, but it shows that they're at least kind of learning. So even though Chelsea Clinton, she's terrified of offending anybody, but you got to realize you can start extreme and you can go to the mainstream. But if you start off as mainstream, then you can't be edgy or controversial. You can always go from more controversial to less, but you can't go from less controversial to more. But, so as bad as her Twitter is, it does show that they are reading Guerrilla Mindset, MAGA Mindset, reading my Twitter, and understanding that you need to have a big platform. Mark Cuban is who I'm more concerned with in 2020. I think Mark Cuban's going to run as a Democrat.
I agree. Another one I'll put out there, Will Smith as a Democratic candidate in the future.
Well, Will Smith and his wife have a very interesting, I'm not going to go into details, but I'll call it arrangement. And if he does run for office, that's the kind of thing that would come out, and I don't think that they would want to come out. So I don't worry. See, you probably didn't know that. Most people don't know that because the Hollywood media is going to sit on it. But the political media will not sit on it. And that would be, I think, he's got a lot, which, by the way, I'm not judging. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. A lot of people, have creative ways to live their lives. But that isn't the kind of thing most people want to be made public. And he's certainly done a very, very good job of keeping it private. But, yeah, good idea, though. That's the kind of person that we would see running. Somebody with a big platform. Somebody with real star power.
All right. Thanks for your time, Mike.
Thanks,
One more thing. I just want to say to everyone out there, if you think Mike Cernovich and people like that aren't going to be the biggest influence on the political future in the USA, you're crazy. People like Bill Kristol, they're gone. It's already been proven, and it's just going to continue. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he's right. He's right. Paul Joseph Watson, Stephen Molyneux, Rebel Media, Gavin McInnes, Milo, Faith Goldie, Lauren. There's Project Veritas. There's all these people, right? All these people that are coming up that have real impact. Way bigger. Bill Kristol, I didn't even know who he was till last year. And only to make fun of him on Twitter. To me, Bill Kristol and Jonah Goldberg, Rich Lowry, the National Review, Glenn Beck, Ben Shapiro, they were just all people I made fun of on Twitter. I'd never heard of these people before. That is how low impact that they were. I'd never heard of them. They're just more people to make fun of. But apparently, other people on Twitter, they were big on Twitter. But in terms of the real world, no impact. And how do we know they have no impact? Well, they went against Trump. They went all in against Trump, and they showed they can't move the needle. They cannot move the needle. All right, we'll take a few more calls. I'm going to have to end the show a little bit early tonight. I got some things going on. Busy guy. All right, but we'll take a few more calls. We are 1-866-438-1487. That is 866-438-1487. I should know this number by heart. Let me see. Pop quiz. 866-438. Yep, 1487. Go ahead and call in. Let me know what's on your mind. But hurry up, because I got to get going here pretty quick. By the way, be sure to hit the like button. If you're watching now, be sure to hit the like button on this, because they have been throttling they've been throttling Right Side Broadcasting. So right now, 402 people are watching live. I'll tell you how Right Side Broadcasting is being throttled. Right now, 403 people are watching live, okay? My YouTube, which I only have 20,000 subscribers on, I get more people watching me live. How does that add up? How does Right Side with 250,000 subscribers get less views than my YouTube does, right? It doesn't add up. Think about that for a minute. All right, we got caller from Missouri. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. We're talking about Will Smith, and it reminded me, the one thing about this Vault 7 thing that has actually shocked me is that it shocked anybody else that it happened. Because Will Smith did a movie in 1998, I think it was, Enemy of the State. Mm-hmm. It was like 20 years ago, and they had a lot of this stuff in that movie.
Now, Enemy of the State, I saw that. I'm just double checking. Yeah, that was a great film. That was where he went to use his credit card as ATM, right? And it was just cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm too, like, that's the whole thing, is the WikiLeaks they've told us things that we've already known to be true. It provides proof of what we know to be true. And a lot of people, see, the big issue a lot of people have, they can't comprehend evil. Napoleon, Dr. Napoleon, I forget his name, Anthony Napoleon, or who wrote Shadow Men, which is a great book. I really ought to know this guy's name.
I know it's Napoleon Legal.
Yeah, I know that, and that's a branding.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, that's a branding error on his part, right? Is if you're on Twitter, Napoleon Legal shouldn't be your Twitter handle. It should be your actual name, right? Otherwise, how are people going to know your name? And I'm a big fan. That's the whole thing. Like, I'm a fan of him, a big supporter, a big booster. I don't even know if that's a branding error. I don't even know the guy's last name. And I've read his book, recommended it many times, because his Twitter handle is Napoleon Legal, but that's not his name. But anyway, he had a great Twitter stream yesterday, which is, forensics teaches this one thing to every expert. Some men and some women simply have dark hearts. Good people have trouble with that. Good people are the only solution to those who are evil. But most good people want to find a kind, gentle place to live their lives. This means, then, that the playground of life, the bastions of power, are for all intents and purposes, turned over to evil men and women. How deep is that, right? Mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
That's why we lose. I don't want to go to DC, right? I don't like doing journalism. People say, Mike, you must love doing journalism. No, I don't. I like the mindset stuff. Because journalism is full of evil people. Think about fake news. What kind of person fabricates fake news, right? Crazy, isn't
I
it?
actually did I
Crazy.
did a thing on that. I tried to do my own fake news story. And, like, within 15 minutes, I was just, like, so nervous. I was shaking, like, oh, I feel so bad doing this. And I just came out of, like, hey, this was... Because I just wanted to see, you know, how easy it was to get something going.
Well, that's the whole
And
point.
I couldn't even do it.
I have written stories that are true about people, and I still felt it in my heart. I felt bad because I knew that I was really going to hurt this person, even though it was true, and it wasn't a good person. So what kind of sociopath lies about people cravenly? That is who we're dealing with. So honest people don't want to be in journalism. Honest people think, I don't want to be around these evil people. Good people want to leave. Good people don't want to do politics. But that leaves it to the evil. So we have to stand up and we have to do the right thing.
Yep.
All right, but you're right. Like you said, if you try to create a hoax, most of us are honest people and we wouldn't have the stomach to lie. I don't have the stomach to do hoaxes, lie about people. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I just did that and it made me physically sick.
Yeah.
Like, I was feeling sick, like, I can't do this. I got to come clean.
Yeah.
You know, and it was...
And to them, it's nothing. Yeah. And to 99% of journalism, that's what they do every day for the whole job. They just lie.
I don't see how people can do that.
Because they're evil.
Crazy.
That's the whole point, is if you're a good human being, it's hard to comprehend the true evil that exists in Washington, D.C. and exists in the media. And that's why the pedophilia stuff is hard for a lot of people to believe. But think about it. If you can lie openly and spread fake news and ruin lives and make it so that children aren't able to eat because their fathers and mothers are out of work, they lose their jobs because of lies, is it really a stretch to wonder if they maybe enjoy hurting children, right? Not a surprise.
Yeah.
But most people are just not capable of comprehending the truly darkness that exists. But we have no choice. We have to fight back.
You know, one thing we can do, like with this Vault 7 thing, because they're going to spy on people, they're going to get information and use it against people like this. The one thing I've always done is I've assumed if it's connected to the internet via a wire, or if it has a wireless capability, it's compromised.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything you put on there, you better be okay with that being made public.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even things that you didn't think were.
Closed circuit.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff that you thought, somebody made a funny point, which is how many people now have a sex tape and you didn't even know about it, right? If you had a Samsung TV in your bedroom, you now have a sex tape on you. That's how they blackmail you. They let you go so far up, and then they say, hey, are you willing to have us post all of your naked pictures, all of you in a private moment, all of you with, fornication, intercourse? We'll put that all public, and then people are afraid of that. Luckily for me, I don't care.
Isn't that why we have the big pedophile problem in D.C.? Because they go out and they find these
Exactly.
people who have those inclinations. They have parties. They film them, and then they say, hey, you're going to go do this, and if you don't, we're going to release this.
Exactly right. They groom them. So it isn't that pedophiles are drawn to government. They're groomed for power. Sick stuff, man. But, I don't know. We got to fight back. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, thanks. Later.
It's a dark world, guys. Well, it's not a dark world. It's a great time to be alive. There has always been evil in the world. Too many people live in denial of the evil that exists in the world. That's why people say, Mike, you're too extreme, or Mike, you're too this. What do you mean I'm too extreme? The kind of people I'm fighting are fabricating information to get people fired from jobs so they can't support their family. The kind of people I'm fighting against are pedophiles. How am I too extreme? Right? I don't have any sympathy for so-called moderates. Go be moderate somewhere else. Don't do it around me. All right, we got Missouri. How you doing, Missouri? We got a caller from Missouri. Is that you? M.I.? I think M.I. Or is that Maine? Whatever.
It might be Michigan.
Michigan. There you go. All right.
Hey, Mike. Well, I wanted to talk about car hacking.
Okay.
With regards to Vault 7 and some of that stuff. And, back in, I want to say 2008, it was first reported as, this is one of the stories I researched back then, just because I'm in the cybersecurity field. And one of the first original things you could do in 2008 is you could hack into the wireless titer system of someone's car. Now, granted, you had to be really close to the car because the range was really short. But you could hack into the person's car. You could play with their sensors. You could turn their heat on and off. You could, blast their horn. That was the annoying stuff. The other stuff is you disable the brakes, speed up their car, turn their car off. You can basically do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And, this was back then in 2008. Now, fast forward to today, you have OnStar, which can pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have an app. I have an app on my phone for my car, and the app on the phone lets me trace the car. It lets me control how fast the car goes if the valet has it. And this is my phone, and people want to tell me that the CIA can't hack your car, and I'm just thinking, how stupid are you, right? What kind of moron? People said, Mike, you're paranoid about hacking cars. On my phone, I can hack my car on my phone with the app, freaking out. But then morons want to say they can't hack your car. Like, how dumb are people? How dumb are people who hate on me?
Well, it's even worse than that. I mean, even the actual key fobs themselves. So, like, you look at the new charger models. You have a key that has the unlocked highest RPMs, and then you have another key that you could give to like a valet or something like that who has only about like 400 some horsepower versus the 700 some horsepower. And so if you can have that kind of a capability in a key, then
exactly.
There's a lot of things that you could do with that. And back in 2011, there was a research group where they looked at a lot of like BMWs, Audis, they looked at Lexus and Mazdas, and various other makes and models where they spoofed the key fob, and all you needed was two devices. One was the range extender of somebody's key fob. So again, you had to be close to it, but this was back in 2011. And then you had the other person who was relaying the information, and you could do the exact same thing as the key fob, and it acted like you had that person's key fob right with you, right in front of you. And 5 years later, this story was in 2016. Most of these manufacturers didn't even fix it. And part of the problem with this is, with Bluetooth and everything like that, with OnStar, now cars have wireless routers in them. And then, as far as the updating the actual security risks go, it's interesting because, I have a 2010 Ford Fusion, and the way I update my car is, I just download a file onto a USB drive, plug it into my car, and press a couple buttons. But, unless your car manufacturer is actively fixing these security flaws, which from the sounds of it, they're not doing anything like that because frankly, they don't really care because it's not a concern to them. Unless our government actually tells them you have to do this, or there's massive regulations for this, there's more money that they don't want to spend. But what about places? What about stuff like Uber? Like people who drive Uber cars, Lyft cars, the value, you go to a rental car. Are they updating any of these? Are there actual security risks being updated through here? Or?
That's the whole thing. The sad truth is that if they want us dead, man, that's why a lot of people go, Mike, why do you tell people where you're going to be, right? A lot of people worry about me, and I'm glad they worry about me. I'm glad people care about me and worry about me. But I go, look, man, because if I have a happy hour, I say I'm going to have a happy hour. And they go, aren't you worried about people showing up? The minute the deep state wants me dead, it's gone, over with. So you just have to live your life. You have to. In a way, I have inner peace knowing that they can do me in any time, because that lets me not live in fear the way other people live in fear.
Oh yeah, And the easiest way to find somebody, I mean, just think of OnStar. How does an OnStar employee know where you are? Well, more than likely, I mean, I would assume through either satellite or some type of signal bounced off radio towers or something like that. However OnStar works, but I would assume it's more be satellite. I would be hard pressed to find out that the CIA doesn't have access to that entire, network. And if they have access to something like that, which I'm sure that'll come out in Vault 7, it's just only a matter of time until they have every single car, every make and model, control over all these cars. I mean, that is huge. And then same thing goes to all other forms of transportation. So
I agree. Well, remember too, WikiLeaks, they said Vault 7 was only 1%.
Yep, 1%.
All right, thanks for the call.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we have some great calls. Thank you for everybody for calling in as usual. Save the number, because I don't always give it out right away. I want people who have the number saved to be able to call in first. I'm going to get going. We're going to end the show here a few minutes early tonight, because I got some friends from out of town. Right? I was almost not even going to do the whole show tonight. But I said I really want to talk to you all. Before I go, be sure to like. All this stuff matters, right? Because Right Side, their show is being throttled. So be sure to like this video, because that'll boost it up in YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to Right Side, and be sure there's a little bell. I'm looking at it right now. There's a little bell next to the subscribe button. So hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell. That way you can be notified right away whenever I go live or whenever there's anything new on Right Side. So thanks for tuning in. This is Mike Cernovich, DangerandPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset. I'll see you soon.